In this screencast, we are going to go over the whole process of connecting Google Spreadsheets to our Docxpresso instance. We should start by creating a project in our Google console for developers. So open this pop-up and select New Project. We are invited to create a project that we are going to call something like DX Spreadsheets and hit the Create button. Well, the project is created, so we have to go to it, and we have to scroll down here to explore and enable APIs. Go to the Enable APIs and Services and scroll down until Google Sheets API. Click on it and just say Enable. Now click here on Credentials, Create Credentials, and click on Help Me Choose. And here, well, the API is already selected. You say that you are going to call it from a web server. The data that will be accessed will be application data, and you are not going to use compute engine. Click on what credentials do I need. Just leave the JSON radio button checked and just put here a meaningful name. Select a role, project owner, and continue. Then, like you can see, you're invited to save a JSON file with the requested credentials in your computer. So just click Open With or Save File as you wish. Save it to your computer and close. And in principle, this is everything that we need to connect our Google Spreadsheets to Docxpresso. It is important here that you keep record of this email because you will need to share the Google Spreadsheets with this email so our Docxpresso instance can access through this service account the required spreadsheet files. Now, to finish the configuration within Docxpresso, we have to go to Integrations, Providers, and just click on the Google tab and copy in Credentials the JSON credentials that were offered in the Google console. Click on Test Credentials to make sure that they are correct. And if so, just click on Save Data. Now we must configure a specific spreadsheet that has been stored in Google Drive in order to import and export data from it within Docxpresso. Well, we just go to Add a Spreadsheet, we choose a provider, we give it a name so we can manage this spreadsheet within Docxpresso, and we have to set up the scope. In principle, there are three options: only read, only write, or readable and writable. We are going to choose the latest one, and we have to introduce here the share link. Beware that this share link has to be generated within Google Drive and has to be shared with the email of the service account that we just created, so we can access it from Docxpresso. We can click here on Get Sheet Names and see which are the available sheets within that spreadsheet. In this case, there is only one. We just choose it. We just click on Active, so we can use it within Docxpresso, and we can also modify the access permissions. By default, these spreadsheets are public within Docxpresso back office, so every user has access to them, but we can limit the permission by group. For example, we can click here and just grant access permissions to the first group, but by the time being, we're going to leave it like public. Well, whenever we are done, we just have to go and click on Save in order to have this spreadsheet active on our Docxpresso instance. In order to illustrate how to import data to a particular template, we have just opened here one document within Docxpresso. We click here, Cloud Spreadsheets, we select our spreadsheet, click on Fetch Data, and we see that we have here a couple of rows. if we just click on this, we can see that the system automatically matches the fields within the spreadsheet that have the same name that our fields within the Docxpresso template. And this map can always be changed manually. We can also decide which data to load. And the fields that are not matched, we just can, well, select a field to map or to bind that data to that particular field, or just leave them unselected. And if we click on load selected data, like you see, the data has been loaded. But what if we want to go the other way around? This is to export the data that has been introduced in a Docxpresso document into an existing Google spreadsheet. Well, in that case, for that process, we can click here on Edit, go here, select Cloud Spreadsheets, activate, and say on what event we want data to be exported. Here we choose on Send. We choose the associated spreadsheet. In this case, we have chosen client list, although of course we have other options. We just fetch fields, and like you can see, the map of coincident fields is automatically created. And whenever there is a variable within the spreadsheet that has no equivalent in the template, in principle is left as empty, but of course we can change this manually, like with all other data bindings. Whenever we are ready, we just click on Save Changes, and whenever a user fills a document within Docxpresso, these specific fields will be exported to the Google spreadsheet. And this is all.